Hello and welcome to lecture number 63. This is topic 4.10, the Black Arts Movement. There are two learning objectives today, and the first one is explain how the Black Arts Movement influenced Black culture in the 1960s and 1970s. The Black Arts marked a new way to envision art, literature, music, and theater created by Black artists. By 1965, these creators became part of a collective movement that used art as a political tool to achieve Black liberation. They increasingly believe that art should be judged not by its aesthetics, but by its power to transform the lives of Black people. As Addison Gale explained in his anthology, The Black Aesthetic, the question for the Black critic today is not how beautiful is a melody, a play, a poem, or a novel, but how much more beautiful has the poem, melody, play, or novel made the life of a single Black man? How has the work gone in transforming an American Negro into an American or a Black man? This statement echoed the broader cultural shift of the 1960s, which saw the rise of movements for civil rights and liberation globally, such as the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa and decolonization efforts across Africa and Asia. This philosophy demonstrated that Black art was distinct in its inspiration, characteristics, and purposes. However, this does not mean that everyone had a monolithic understanding of what Black art should be. Even within the Black arts movement, artists and thinkers debated the merits of art for art's sake versus art as an agent for social change. Additionally, individuals criticized by the Black arts movement as assimilationists often found areas of agreement with the movement's goals. This new aesthetic, visible across various media, was exemplified in the works of artists like David Driscoll, Jeff Donaldson, who founded the Afri-Cobra Collective, Elizabeth Catlett, whose work you see on the screen, and Faith Ringgold, whose narrative quilts told stories of Black history and identity. These artists rejected Western and European themes, looking instead towards what they believed was more representative of their culture and themselves. In literature, two major anthologies emerged as cornerstones of the movement. The first was Black Fire 1968, edited by Amiri Baraka, formerly known as Leroy Jones, and Larry Neal, and the second was The Black Aesthetic, compiled by Addison Gale. Both anthologies include works by contemporary writers such as Sonia Sanchez and Nikki Giovanni. Novelists like Toni Morrison and Alice Walker also played a pivotal role in emphasizing the Black experience, particularly the Black female experience. Morrison's novel The Bluest Eye, 1970, drew upon historical realities of systemic racism and colorism in America, while Walker's later work, such as The Color Purple, highlighted intersections of race, gender, and oppression. In music, the Black Arts Movement celebrated free jazz for its high degree of improvisation, unstructured melodic inflections, and sounds that imitated human cries and shrieks. Though not as commercially successful as mainstream Black musicians like James Brown or Nina Simone, one of the most celebrated free jazz artists was John Coltrane, whose work epitomized the spirit of experimentation and liberation. In theater, Leroy Jones, who later changed his name to Amiri Baraka, played a significant role. His play, The Dutchman, in 1964, won a prestigious Obie Award. The play became a landmark for its fearless portrayal of racial tensions. As a result of the Black Arts Movement, a new political foundation for Black art was developed. This movement bears similarities to the Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s, when Alain Locke proclaimed a new mentality for the Negro. Here, the Black Arts Movement called for a cultural revolution, rejecting the universal values and themes often seen as representative only of white and Western culture. These ideas were central to works of Jeff Donaldson's collective Afri-Cobra, which sought to reflect Black identity through the art they produced. An example of this is Donaldson's painting Shango's Wives, shown on the left. This piece draws not only on African subject matter, but also represents a departure from traditionally Western or American art, heavily influenced by European themes. On the top right is Faith Ringgold's painting Flag is Bleeding, and it demonstrates the essence of the Black arts movement. It delivers a stark political message about America's stained history of racism. Artists or writers who did not reject these universal themes or who adhered to a universalist perspective, such as James Baldwin, Ralph Ellison, or Albert Murray, were often criticized by Black aestheticians as being assimilationists. Baldwin's earlier works, including Go Tell It on the Mountain, were praised for their literary excellence, yet some Black arts advocates questioned whether his focus on universal human themes sufficiently addressed the urgency of Black liberation. The Black Arts Movement also emphasized the importance of a long tradition of Black cultural production, connecting contemporary writers and artists to their predecessors. Many looked to figures from the Harlem Renaissance as their immediate forerunners. For example, Alice Walker's essay In Search of Zora Neale Hurston in Ms. Magazine shed light on Hurston's life and work. Hurston had died in financial hardship and near anonymity, but Walker's efforts led to a revival of interest in her contributions. Black arts movements tied its work not only to the Harlem Renaissance, but also to earlier intellectual traditions. In the anthology The Black Aesthetic, works of Black intellectuals like W.E.B. Du Bois and Langston Hughes were included to show there was a continuity in the production of art and poetry. The writings of W.E.B. Du Bois and Langston Hughes were frequently revisited and underscored a continuity in Black cultural expression. Du Bois's essay Criteria of Negro Art, published in 1926 in The Crisis, famously argued that all art is propaganda, a sentiment echoed in the politically charged ethos of the Black arts movement. Furthermore, the movement traced its lineage to African roots, emphasizing that Black cultural production was not a disconnected phenomenon, but rather part of an enduring legacy. Anthropological studies, like Melville Herskowitz's The Myth of the Negro Past in 1941, reinforced the idea that Black Americans retained significant aspects of their African heritage despite the impacts of slavery. This recognition of African continuity was central to the Black arts movement's efforts to celebrate and elevate Black creativity and culture. And the second learning objective is explain how the Black arts movement influenced the development of African American studies. The course of African American studies is inherently interdisciplinary, and the material inspired by the Black arts movement plays a significant role in shaping the field. In a course like this, various aspects of Black culture, politics, and creativity are deeply explored. For example, publications such as Jet and Ebony, along with Black World, formerly known as Negro Digest, served as essential platforms for Black voices. New publishing houses such as Third World Press emerged to amplify the works of Black authors, while art collectives like AfriCobra, which we have already discussed, contributed to the visual identity of the movement. Amiri Baraka's drama collective, the Black Arts Repertory Theater School, or BARTS, also exemplified this interdisciplinary spirit by combining performance, activism, and education. Additionally, new scholarly journals founded in 1969 and 1970, such as the Black Scholar and the Journal of Black Studies, played important roles in elevating historical and cultural scholarship in African Americans. The Black arts movements directly inspired the establishment of African American studies as an academic discipline. The earliest African American studies programs were developed with a focus on integrating history, culture, and political thought. San Francisco State University offered the first formal program in 1968, marking a turning point in higher education. This initiative was the result of student-led protests and activism during the late 1960s, and that was part of a broader wave of student movements demanding curriculum reform across the United States. By creating an interdisciplinary framework, these programs ensure that African American history, literature, art, and sociology could be studied as interconnected fields, reflecting the multifaceted contributions of Black culture and intellectualism. And finally, here's the recap. The Black arts movement inspired artists, writers, musicians, and dramatists who envisioned art as a political tool to achieve Black liberation. It created a new political foundation for Black art, though it emphasized the long tradition of Black cultural production. And finally, it inspired new Black magazines, publishing houses, art collectives, scholarly journals, and the new African American studies programs across the country. Thank you for watching. If you would like to watch the next lecture, click the thumbnail on the screen. And if you would like more resources to help you study, you can visit apushslides.com/AFAM. I wish you the best of luck with your studies, and I hope to see you back on the next lecture.